Well, hello, everybody. Happy Monday. It is Mo Monday, and I am excited for this Killing It Collective. I've got my guest backstage, and I can't wait to introduce him to you. Hold tight. All right. Well, I am super excited today because I have the amazing Ken Walls, and I am going to add him right now so that you guys can chat with him. Here he comes. Hey, Ken.
Hey, Jennifer.
Hey, Kennifer. No,
Jennifer. Let's shorten that. Let's just call you Jen.
Well, I mean, you own the patent on that, the trademark. I'm pretty sure I told you the rights. You're the only one that gets to call me Jen.
Yes, you have told me that.
Hey, Chad Pittenger. And hey, Charles. Good to see you guys this morning. Or at least it's afternoon now, I guess. Noon, my time.
Hey, Chad.
What time is it where you are, Ken? You're
it's 1:04.
1:04 on the dot. Well, yeah. You know, if I haven't said it 400 million times already, I'll say it again. Ken is my amazing coach, guru extraordinaire for going live, branding, marketing, all things social media, influencing, the whole 9 yards. You're a complete and total stud in that area, which is why you are my coach. You are my Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Thank you.
And all of that. And
I love being your coach.
Well, I love you being my coach. And you're also my friend now.
Yes.
I can easily say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I can actually say that I pay you to be friends with me.
I don't know that you pay me. I would be friends with you if you didn't pay me. I just wouldn't give you as much time.
True. Well, you over deliver quite a bit on your coaching. I tell him all the time, I think he's too cheap. I'm just saying.
And I tell her all the time I want to raise my prices on her, and she doesn't like that idea.
No, I don't. Well, you know, I can be tight like that. So I'm super excited because usually you have guests on your show, Breakthrough Walls, which if you guys aren't following Ken Walls, you need to. He's got this amazing show, Breakthrough Walls, and then you've got another one with your good buddy Glenn Morshower.
Yep.
Called Ken and Glenn Show with a guy named Scott.
Yep.
And I don't know Scott that well, but I do know Glenn. He starred as Agent Pierce on 24, right?
Yep. Yep.
Fox.
He's on a current show called The Resident on Fox Television.
That's right. That's right.
Great show, by the way, if you haven't seen it.
Well, you know, I try not to watch too much television these days. It's a little crazy out there. But first things first, I've got to put my glasses on so I can say hello to everybody that's loading on. Yes, Chad, exactly. Good point. Breakthrough Walls. Yeah. So, Ken, I get to interview you today. So let's start first things first. Where were you born? Where are you from originally?
Ohio. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. Where in Ohio? Exactly.
Well, originally I'm from a little town area called Indian Lake. It's a lake resort area, where all the rich people came in and stayed at their cabins on the weekends and through the summers. And, we were not one of those families, but, yeah, that's where I'm from. Indian Lake, Ohio. Yeah.
Indian Lake. Oh, it sounds pretty. Sounds like, was there a lake in Indian Lake?
Yeah. Yep. There was a big dance hall there back in the, 50s and 60s. They had an amusement park with a roller coaster. In fact, at the time, I think it was like the largest wooden roller coaster in the world or the longest or something like that. It was, but they had a dance hall where like Frank Sinatra, the Rat Pack would come and sing and play back in the 60s, and all kinds of really cool stuff.
Well, that's awesome. Now, largest wooden roller coaster in the world. Did you ever ride it?
No, when the time we moved there, I think we moved there in like 1971, 72, and they had just closed it down, or it was, yeah, I think they had just closed down. And so no, I when I was a kid, the park was shut down. We used to climb the fence and go in, and there was a there was a fun house. That had this wooden slide that when they were open, you would ride down this big wooden slide inside the fun house in these burlap bags. And of course, they didn't have burlap bags there, so we would just go over there and take pledge and make it really, really, really fast. And yeah, we broke in, basically. It was pretty illegal, I think, but
pretty illegal.
We were kids.
Well, and it sounds kind of creepy.
It was crazy. It was, yeah. I'm shocked that I'm alive.
To an abandoned fun house. That sounds like a setup for a horror movie, right there.
Yeah.
Like it. Like the clown is chasing you through the.
It was crazy. Yeah, we did that at night too sometimes. So yeah, it was crazy.
Well, crazy and brave. Okay, that wouldn't be me.
I don't know about brave. Maybe a little bit is stupid, but
yeah.
Yeah.
So what got you out of Indian Lake?
Oh God. I think I mean, you know, I was I always hated being poor. I hated it. And so I can remember in school the rich kids, you know, the kids that I went to school with where their parents had money. They were always, you know, that back in my day, the jeans were Jordache. And, you know, if you wore Jordache jeans, if you were really cool. And I didn't. I mean, we had to go buy, we wore clothes that were like from they weren't name brand nice clothes necessarily. And so I remembered, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, I was like, I got to make my own way. I got to make my own money. And I would go out and pull a lawnmower with my little bicycle. I had a lawnmower with a rope, and I would pedal house to house and go knock on their door and ask if I could mow their yard. And you know, I learned how to sell doing that and trying to make my own money, which I did. I made my own money so I could buy my own Jordache jeans and you know what I mean? So like, and I was buying, you know, packs of gum at the drugstore, and I would I would resell individual sticks of gum at school and make a profit off of that. And so I was always, you know, trying to figure out how to make a buck.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's really where you got your start in sales, like you said.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, little kid pedaling his bike, dragging a lawnmower.
Yeah.
You probably got a lot of sympathy clothes. You probably got really good sympathy clothes. Like, I'd really like to be dragging this lawnmower, you know, behind a golf cart.
Yeah. No, and you know, what's crazy is when you're going downhill dragging a lawnmower and it's on a rope, well, the lawnmower catches you when you come to a stop. So you got to be fast to turn around and grab it before it crushes your back. And so, yeah, but you know, I think that there was this thing where I felt just really insecure and like I didn't fit in or I wasn't good enough. And I as a kid, I can remember I was always trying to prove that I was capable, that I was worthy, that I was good enough. And you know, that's probably been, you know, I had Andy Frisella on my show and I asked him, you know, what's this insatiable drive that you have? Like he has this just drive, you know, and he said probably because I was bullied so much and as a kid and picked on and it just gave me this I'll show you attitude and I think that I have that too, you know. I think that I have that energy or that attitude of you know what, I'll show you, you know, and doubt me. I dare you to doubt me.
Right. Yeah.
That is what it just kicks it into high gear for me.
It just fuels you big time.
Yeah.
You know, and it's weird because, you know, you meet so many people that when they're kicked in the teeth with challenges, they just give up. And I mean, I know you see that a lot, even as a coach, trying to help push people through their challenges.
Yep. I do.
But I mean, what do you think's the differentiating factor?
For what? For
like between people that can't seem to push through those challenges and just give up, and the ones that literally let their fear be their fuel or their haters be their motivators or whatever. I mean, what do you think?
I think that people are afraid of other people's opinions far too much. I think they're afraid that what if I go out and I do all this work and I do all of this, face my fears, and I go after this thing that I want and I fail, and then the whole world finds out that I failed, I'm going to look like a schmuck. And so why even try?
Right.
And I think that a lot of people, I coach people who are, you know, multi millionaires. I coach people who are incredibly successful at the top of their games. And I see these people experience these moments of not feeling good enough. And I can totally relate to it. And I think that's why it makes me a good coach, is I can relate to that not feeling good enough thing where I'm like, you know, I don't know. I can just relate to people when they say, you know, I really want to do this thing. Hey, Nancy, I want to do this thing, but I you know, and then all of the excuses, the reasons we come up with these justifications as to why we shouldn't do it. Well, I'm busy. I'm already wealthy. Why would I want to go out and do all of that? And you know, I help people clear that. I
Yes, you do. Very well. You know, the funny thing is about you, Ken, and I mean, you coach a lot of amazing people, just like you said. And you have so many powerful friends too. I mean, you know, like you're good friends with Grant Cardone, and you're good friends with Jeffrey Gitomer and Glenn Morshower and all these people. And the one thing they all seem to say about you that they love about you is that you can kind of kick people where it hurts, like tell them what they need to hear, be blunt.
Yeah.
But we love you for it. Like at the end, like when I do it, people just go, wow, she's a best. You know? You do it, it's all like, oh, he's so cute.
Oh my God.
It's coming from you because this is you. I'm doing a Ken Walls impersonation. Ready, Judy? Ready? I'm telling you guys how it rolls. This is Ken. This is him. I'll tell him something that he thinks is BS, and he goes, Jennifer, is it okay if I'm blunt with you? Is it okay if I tell you the truth? All right.
Yep.
Here it comes. You suck, and you got to get over that.
I'm not that bad.
You're not that bad. You never told me I suck.
No, never.
But you always lean real close to the screen.
Yeah.
Get real serious. But
well, look, I think that again, for me, I lived for many, many, many years in denial. And, you know, I went through a lot of craziness growing up, and eventually I turned, well, not eventually, it was at a young age that I started drinking alcohol, very young age. And I believe by the age of 13, I was a full-blown alcoholic. And for many years, I, man, I drank like, I mean, you know, I've heard people plan out their drinking escapades. I didn't plan. My plan was get up and drink until I couldn't say my name or walk a straight line. And towards the end of my drinking at 34 years old, I was a train wreck, and I had lost multi-million-dollar businesses. I had lost many relationships and a couple of marriages, and you know, I was a mess. And at 34 years old, a guy comes into this bar. I was always a high-end drunk. I called myself a top shelf drunk. I used to have a sign in my office that said, "You can't drink all day if you don't start first thing in the morning."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, but I was sitting in this bar in the Muirfield, Ohio area, which is part of Dublin. It's where Jack Nicklaus is from. It's his home course where they play the memorial tournament at Muirfield every year. I was in that area in this bar restaurant and sitting there drinking. That night I was drinking draft beers, and I was on about my 6th or 7th beer, had no buzz at all. That was one thing about my tolerance. It had become completely unpredictable. And I sat there, and this guy walks in, and he sits down next to me. I knew him, and he says, "Hey man, I put in my notice at work." And I'm like, "Good for you, dude. What are you planning on doing?" He goes, "What do you mean? What am I planning on doing?" I go, "What are you planning on doing?" He's like, "I'm coming to work for you." And I go, "No, you're not. I'm downsizing right now. Are you crazy?" And he's like, "Dude, you offered me a job as the full-time guy at the head guy at in your installation." I said, "Dude, no, I didn't." He said, "Yes, you did." I said, "No, I didn't. What are you talking about, Dave?"
Oh my gosh.
I know. And he said, "Are you serious right now?" And I go, "What are you talking about, dude? I don't know what you're talking about." And he goes, "Oh my gosh, dude, I can't believe this. You offered me a job the other night and you don't remember that?" And I'm like, "What are you talking? When did we talk?" He goes, "Oh," and we talked. I'm like, "No, I can't hire you, dude. Like, go rescind your 2-week notice." Like,
yeah.
And he goes, "I'm gonna look like an idiot now." And he got mad, and he goes, "You know what? You are nothing but a worthless drunk, and everybody around here knows it." And he got up, shoved his beer out of the way, and got up, and he goes, "Go get some help." And he walks out. And now I'm sitting in this top shelf bar restaurant. It's literally a really, really nice place. And I'm sitting at the bar, and I look around, and there's a couple of people that looked at me, and I was like, you know, like,
yeah,
I was trying to blow it off. And I look around, and and there was this moment where it felt like everybody in the entire place was looking at me.
Oh,
and I was like, that did not just happen. There is no way that just happened. And I remember paying my tab and walking out, and I was staying at an Embassy Suites because my ex had thrown me out. She did not appreciate me hitting on her best friend when I was in another blackout. And which, you know, I was insane. I was nuts. From the outside looking in, I had 2 Mercedes. I had the big house. I had, you know, but I had the company I was president of, and it looked like, wow, this dude's got it going on. But like, the reality was, I didn't have anything going on, and I was a mess. My life was in the shitter. Pardon my language, but it was bad. And I so I went back to the embassy suites, and some other dude calls me, dude, I got a couple of girls, let's go party. I'm like, I'm like, no, dude, no. And I turn off my phone, and I laid down on this bed in the embassy suites hotel, and I literally started crying. And I said, God, if you are real, I need you to help me, because I can't do this. I don't know what to do. I can't do this. And I was in just sobbing like a little girl. Why do we always compare it to little girls? But anyway, I was sobbing.
Little boys sob too, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I was sobbing, and I ended up falling asleep. And hey, Tim Gillette, I see Tim. I love Tim. He's such a good dude. And the next day I woke up, and normally I would be, by noon or so, I'd be figuring out where I was going to go start my drinking for the day. This particular day, something had changed, and I don't know what that was. But I decided I'm going to go to a meeting, a 12-step meeting, and I'm going to, figure out how to drink like a normal person. And so I decided, I mean, I drove a Mercedes. I was all that and a bag of potato chips. Potato chips. That's Dr. Evil. Isn't that Dr. Evil from the Austin Powers movie? But anyway, so
I don't know. I've been saying all that in a bag of chips since I can remember, because I'm all
I think Dr. Evil said, oh, you think you're all that and a bag of potato chips or something like that. But anyway, so I decided that, it would be very important that I don't attend a meeting in my local area, because I can't have people seeing me walking into a church to an AA meeting, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
So I drove, I don't know, 30, 40 miles out of town, and to another town. I found a meeting, and I went to that, and I go walking in, I get a cup of coffee, and I sit down right next to somebody that I knew, a doctor.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh. I go, what are you doing here, dude? And he's like, oh, I've been waiting on you.
Good response.
I'm like, wow. And so that's where it started. And that was over 18 years ago, August the 10th of 2002. And by the grace of God and a lot of hard work, I've not had a drink or a mind or mood altering drug since then. And I'm very grateful for that. The world's a better place. Jen is all that and a bag of hot Cheetos.
That is my good dear friend Nancy Stroot, who works out with me every Tuesday, Thursday, and some Saturdays. She's a bag of hot Cheetos.
Have I seen her? I've seen her then in your your Instagram stories.
In my stories, we go live every Saturday at 9 a.m. She was there with me this past Saturday. So
yeah, I saw her.
And you got Newey Scruggs on here, man. Do you know Newey?
I know his name. I don't know if Newey and I are friends on Facebook or not, but I know his name for sure.
Well, Newey needs to be on your show. 7-time Emmy-winning sportscaster out of Dallas, Fort Worth.
Wow.
And, part of Kyle Wilson's Inner Circle.
Okay, maybe that's where I know his name from. Yeah,
got a huge ID Life testimonial also.
That's awesome.
Know each other. I am proud to say, even though he claims that I changed his life health-wise, he changed mine in so many ways. He's an amazing individual. So
that's awesome.
Newey, we love you. So I'm glad he's on here now.
Awesome.
Yeah, Newey just said, great story of overcoming addiction.
Yeah.
Now, Ken, have you ever put that into a book? I believe you have, haven't you?
Yep, I sure did. I wrote a book called, and I want to talk a little bit about this, not the book itself. I mean, the book I think is a great book. I've gotten a lot of amazing feedback, but it's called Walls of Wisdom, turning pain into profit. And, you know, I think that, you know, I wrote the book and I look, if there was this thing. So for many years, I had people tell me, Ken, you've got the most amazing stories. You need to write a book. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. But there was this thing in my head, like, oh my God, who's going to publish me? Like, I'm nobody. Like, and how do you even go about that? And like, you know, like how do you get somebody to publish you? Where do you even start? And so, oh, hey, Charles said he was okay. Awesome. Great. Charles said, yeah, I spoke at a conference out in Vegas last year for a network marketing company. Actually hired me to come out there and speak. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
but what's that?
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you've told that story before from stage. And I don't even think I knew about that book, The Walls of Wisdom. I don't think I knew about that. How did I not know about that?
How do you not know about that?
Well, I know you wrote a book.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you've written
I've written 5 books now. So,
yeah.
So
I don't know about that one. I don't stalk you enough, I guess. And thank you, Nui. Thank you, Nui. I love you.
I just made a decision in 2017. I'm writing a book and I'm going to get it done. Grant Cardone is a buddy of mine. Grant has said many times that he wrote his first book under a lot of duress. He wrote his first book in 3 hours. And Elena his wife told this amazing story at the first 10X Growth Conference in Miami. And she talked about how it was just all hitting the fan in 2008. And they were not losing everything, but they were losing a lot of money, and the markets were crashing in real estate, and all of these things, bad things were happening. And Grant looked at her and said, I don't know if we're going to make it through this. And she said, I did not sign up for this. I did not sign up for plan B. You need to figure this out. We have to make it through this. You go in your office and you do not come out until you have a plan. And so, yeah, she told this story. I look, Elena was the only speaker at the first 10X Growth Conference that literally brought tears to my eyes. And so, because I could see myself in Grant's place, like not knowing if you're going to survive. And so he goes in and locks himself in his office, and she's telling the story. She's like, and I thought, and she's like, an hour and a half, 2 hours go by, and she's like, I thought, what have I done? What's he doing? What's going on? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so about 3 hours later, he comes out and hands her a stack of papers, and she goes, what's this? And he goes, it's my first book. That's what's going to save us. And she's like, what? Are you out of your mind? A book? He's like, I just wrote it. I wrote it in 3 hours, and it's Sell or Be Sold, his very first book.
Yeah.
And I can remember thinking, okay, I don't know if it was actually 3 hours, but it was probably close to that, right? But if Grant can write a book in 3 freaking hours, then I can sure as heck write a book in 10 days. So I'm setting the goal for 10 days, my book. And I said, no, it's not going to be a goal. It has to be done in 10 days, period. It has to be done in 10 days. So I wrote my book, and 10 days later, it was done. And I handed it to my wife, and I said, I need you to be my editor. I need you to go through, find all my messed up words. Don't change the message, just change the grammar and where it's bad or whatever. And so I literally started like, I was like, all right, get it done. Would you get it done? Come on, I need it done. And she flies through my book. I think there's a couple of errors in it still, because I pushed her to get it done. She literally got it done in a day or two. And then I put it on Amazon, and it became a #1 bestseller. And I because of the passion I put into doing the live stream, and I know someone who needs to read your book, Ken. He's drinking black house. That's yeah. Yeah, and if I can help with that in any way, please just reach out to me. Um, but I think that people people put things off in their life that they know they want to do, they know they should do, and they just don't do, and they allow fear, and they allow all of the stories that we tell ourselves about, well, if I do this, and Jen, maybe for me, I've lost everything 4 times. I've been homeless 4 times, literally lived in my car. I've never lived on the street. But I've been very, very close to that. I've been without a car, having to live at somebody else's house.
Wow.
And I was very, very blessed that I didn't have to live under a bridge. God worked it out, I guess. I don't know. But I was that close to I mean, had I not stayed at a friend's, I would have been forced to sleep on the streets, and literally. And I've been where I didn't have even $1 to buy a candy bar. I've been many times, and there's always this motivating factor with me that I'll do whatever it takes. And I mean, as long as it's morally and ethically right, I won't stop. I don't stop. Like you,
I know that.
I don't.
That's why you're my coach.
You've called me at midnight, and many, many clients have called me, hey, or text me at midnight, hey, what about this? And I'm always responsive, and it's because, number one, I love people. I care about people, and I love to see people overcome the bullshit that's holding them back. Pardon my language. I don't know if this is G-rated or not, but you knew what you were getting when you asked me to be on.
Yeah.
But hey, Mark Rodriguez, how you doing?
Love Mark Rodriguez. Love that man.
Mark's amazing. What an amazing guy. But like, we tell ourselves there, Dr. Joe Dispenza, is one of my favorite people. And I had one of his partners, Dr. Jeffrey Fannin, on the show the other day. Jeffrey's one of the top neuroscientists in the world. And it's Ken and Jay. Jay.
Jen, but Ken and Jen rated.
Oh. So
down with the PG-13 version.
Yeah.
Or
right.
Yeah.
So we're my 10-year-old daughter says something the other day, or there was something on TV. I said, you go out of here. You can't hear this language. She goes, I hear this language here.
Yeah. Well, are you kidding me? Like, look at JR, what he says.
Yeah.
He's from New Jersey.
Yeah.
So I literally, people say that to me all the time. They're like, you don't really sound like you're from like people in Texas don't think I sound like I'm from Texas. And then people in New York and New Jersey, they're like, well, you don't sound like you're from here, but you've got that Southern drawl. So I always say my dad is from New York. My mom is from Texas. So I talk really fast with a Southern drawl. Right.
Yeah.
But I went out and spent the weekend with our friend, Jeffrey Gitomer. Right.
Yeah.
Really your friend, my friend now, because you introduced me to him. But wow, I came back from there dropping F-bombs like it was an adjective. I was like, hi, effing family. It's so effing good to see you effing people. What are we effing having? I mean, I'm effing starving. Like, my family was like, what happened to you?
Right. Oh,
I love that. It was so much fun. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about all that, though, because you just shared, all those struggles, right?
Yeah.
Been broke 4 times, almost homeless 4 times, lost marriages, all of this. Yeah. And I know that's really the heart of your show, Breakthrough Walls, when you, interview other entrepreneurs or other people who have totally just killed it in life.
Yeah.
After challenges like that. So what was it for you? Obviously part of that, I guess, was finally realizing you had an issue and going to AA and getting sober and all of that, but what were some other factors, and how did you go from that to literally being in almost your own little rat pack with Jeffrey Gitomer and Glenn Morshower and Scott and all these amazing human beings that you now kind of run with? How did your life transition like that?
That's a great question. So, I think that it happened because I heard in Alcoholics Anonymous, I heard about how selfish we were as alcoholics, that were very self-centered egomaniacs with an inferiority complex. And I'm like, and at first, of course, my entire life was designed around denial. So at first, when I heard that, I was like, no, I'm not. You're selfish. Like, I know you are, but what am I? And I was like, so, but after a lot of hard work and a lot of writing and journaling, I mean, thousands upon thousands of pages of journal notes and doing that self, what's the word? I can't think of the word. Like
self-discovery,
kind of, figuring out what was going on with me. Well, I discovered that I had lived a life of very selfish behavior. And, I had a lot of amends to make, and I made a lot of amends. I've attempted to make other amends. And, but I found out what was really going on with me. And that was, I was a very self-centered human being. And I made a conscious decision, and I make a conscious effort on a daily basis to not be self-centered, but to be giving and caring and loving and helping other people. And once I self-awareness, thank you, Chad. That's the word, self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
I went on a journey of self-awareness, discovering things about being me, about being a better human. And so I made this decision that I was just going to start helping other people. And for a long time, I did it. I mean, for many, many, many years, I did it for free. Many years. And I always made money, but I wasn't a coach. I never wanted to be a coach. I had people ask me to coach them, and I said, I'm not a coach. No.
Yeah.
Go see John Maxwell or somebody, because they do that. I don't do that.
That's the most hilarious story. You got to tell the story of how you got into coaching, about the lady that called you.
She called and asked me if I would coach her, and I said no. And she's like, but I need you to coach me and my husband and our adult son. And I said, no, I don't coach. And to make a long story short, I ended up saying, okay. And I didn't even know what to charge. I had no idea what to charge. And so I just said, okay, here's what I'll do it for. And she was like, perfect. Send me a bill. And I was like, okay. And I can remember sending that thinking, what am I doing? I'm taking other people's lives into my hands to help them through struggles. And it just doesn't seem like something I should be doing. Because we all, right. I mean, look, we all suffer from that. Everybody does. And anybody that says they don't will lie to you about other things too. We've all been through those moments in time where we don't feel qualified to be doing what we're doing. We don't feel that imposter syndrome kicks you in the ass over and over and over. It happens to the best of us. And it's only when we go, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway. Mm-hmm. And I'm very grateful I was able to positively impact their lives, and since then, many, many, many other lives. I love doing coaching now. I do keep it at a minimum. I have a handful of clients I work with, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't accept everybody, and I'm not saying that in an arrogant way, but I don't accept everybody that wants to coach with me because of a number of reasons. But I do love doing it. I have the Grow Live Academy. Thank you for scrolling that across the bottom. You're amazing. And that's where now I'm doing the Grow Live Academy, and it's about social media, growing your brand, becoming a better human. It's about live streaming. It's about how to interview people. It's all of these things. And then I do a weekly group coaching call that's included. You've been on there. I've had some amazing people, friends of mine, come in and teach during those coaching calls, like Glenn Morshower, who's done it 3 times now. I've had Jeffrey Gittimer come in, Craig Duswalt, who was Axl Rose's personal assistant from Guns N' Roses. He traveled the whole world with GNR for 4.5 years, and he came in. I have 100 and some lessons in the academy and it's not just about live streaming. It's about going live. It's about learning how to live stream. It's about social media. It's about how to be a better human being too. Because all of the coaching calls are recorded and put in there as well for people to review. The first time Glenn Morshower came in, there were literally grown men in the coaching call for 3 hours. He did 3 hours, and there were grown men in this call crying. Like it was so life-changing. It was amazing. So that's what I love. I love helping people wake up to who you are. I didn't even graduate high school. And because in 12th grade, they said, hey, you didn't get a biology credit in 10th grade. And I was like, yeah, because that was a dumb class and it sucked and I hated it. Like, who wants a biology credit? And they're like, but you need it to graduate. And I'm like, well, that's a stupid rule.
Right.
Just give me I've done trigonometry, analytic geometry, algebra, calculus, aced all of that. And you're worried about me being able to properly dissect a frog? I'm never dissecting a frog again. Give me the damn diploma. And they wouldn't do it. And I'm like, well, this is BS. I'm out of here. And I walked out.
Wow.
And for many years I'm not anymore, because I've employed a lot of college graduates.
Yeah.
I've said this before, 60% of the college graduates that have worked for me couldn't pour piss out of a boot if the instructions were on the heel. So like that's, I'm just saying, like, I don't know what they're teaching down there at the university, but you may have missed a couple of sentences somewhere.
Oh, dude, I totally agree with you. Like, really, I mean, now, and I know you know this because, I mean, you interview all these amazing entrepreneurs too, but the majority of the people now that I look up to, that I want to be like, that I want to grow into, didn't even go to college. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the ones that are closed-minded and hard-headed, I'm not bashing people with a college degree. Heck, I have one. But sometimes I look back on that time in my life in college, even though I will say it was the best 4 years of my life. I had so much fun at Texas Tech. But just all those years spent in corporate America, I have regrets about that. Like, I wished I'd gotten to work as an entrepreneur sooner, but maybe I wouldn't have known what I know now,
and you don't have the comparison.
Yeah.
You don't have the my stomach hurts so much and crying. You don't have you won't have you have nothing to gauge it against if you haven't done that. So, I wouldn't have regrets. I would just say, that's life, man. I mean, I've done it. I've figured out a long time ago, that I'm unemployable. I'm a horrible employee. In fact, Grant one time.
Look, Nancy didn't go to college either, and she can't even spell degree.
Yes.
And she's a multi-millionaire.
Yes, I love that. See, that's what I'm talking about, though. You don't have to have there's a whole gaggle of stories of people that do not have a college degree. And in fact, a lot of people that didn't even graduate high school. So, that became incredibly successful. It's not about it's not, it's what Jim Rohn said, our buddy Kyle, Jim's business partner. So yeah. Jim said, and I'm sure I'm going to butcher it. Somebody can correct me and tell me I'm wrong. I don't care. I'm always open to learning, but it's a formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. Yeah. And I'm close, but it may not be exactly that. But I learned at 2021 somewhere in there that I was a moron, that I didn't know.
Not a Moran.
Yeah, right. More that I didn't know anything. And here I was trying to learn. I was trying to be in a sales position with a company, and I hated it because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And so I went and I remember buying Zig Ziglar books and cassette tapes back in the day. That's what we used, cassette tapes. And I would make copies. If it was a good one, I would make a copy of the cassette tape because I knew I was going to wear it out. I drove so much going door to door and business to business and appointments. And I would listen to this all the time. Brian Tracy's The Psychology of Selling, The Psychology of Success. I bought those courses. I would listen to this stuff and read these books all the time. I have like shelves and shelves and shelves in my office of books galore, like everywhere. I'm always reading. That is a habit that I picked up at 21 years old ish, somewhere in there, and I've never stopped. And it's because, like, man, everything you want to know, everything that you want to know already exists in a book somewhere. I promise you.
So true. So true. Yeah. And even the books that are being written today, I mean, we were just talking about that at Gittimer's Writers Weekend, which P.S. thank you, by the way, for connecting me with Jeffrey Gittimer, the Jeffrey Gittimer. Ken's the one that connected me. Yeah. And spending that time at his Writers Weekend was invaluable. But we were just talking about how there's nothing new under the sun, right? And sometimes it's about taking old wisdom and applying it to new applications, so to speak. But yeah.
Chad, I have every single book that Grant has written. In fact, I have a it's buried, but I have a copy of Sell or Be Sold that is in a wooden case, and it's a leather bound version of Sell or Be Sold. There's only 25 copies of it in the entire world, and I have one of them.
That's crazy.
So, yeah.
Now you were Grant Cardone's web developer for 2 years.
I did SEO and some work on his website. Yeah, I mean, I was one of the guys that logged in and could make changes, but I did the back end SEO stuff for Grant for a couple of years. Yeah.
That's huge. That is huge.
Yeah.
I love what Mark said here. Change happens when we relanguage our perception of reality. Our language changes our perception, which changes our actions, which changes our results.
Mark, that is so true. And Billy Merritt, who's a client of mine and a dear friend of mine, he tells a story. He does, I don't know, $20 million a year, probably, or more. Great guy from Southern Georgia. And he says, Ken, a few years ago, I couldn't even pay my bills. I was living in a house that we rented. It was bad. And he said, hey, there's Pat Hilton. Hey, Pat, how you doing, brother? So he says, I couldn't pay my bills. I couldn't, he's like, and I heard this guy named Bob Proctor say, you got to change what you're talking about in your head. And he said, and he gave me this affirmation, and it goes like this: I'm so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities from multiple sources on a continuous basis. And he said, I said that, and I was like, wait, I can do that. I mean, what the heck do I have to lose? I'll do the and so he said, I just went all in on that. He said, I was driving 4 hours to go see these car dealers. He does business with car dealers. He said, I was driving 4 hours to get to these car dealers. And he goes, and by the time I got there, I was hoarse from saying it out loud. I said it with passion he said, Ken, I've said that, I don't know, man, 30,000 times probably. I don't know, out loud. And he said, I think that's the most important thing that I ever did was I changed the conversations I was having. I reprogrammed my mind. And now I go through life expecting more money from multiple sources, and I'm continuously expecting it to roll in. And so when Billy said that to me, now remember, in my 20s, I was a hustler, man. I had a bunch of people working for me, going door to door selling. I'm making millions of dollars. But, when I got sober, I lost my best friend, which was alcohol. And alcohol was also the very thing that gave me courage to do anything. It didn't matter. I was like, hey man, I'm drunk. I ain't going to remember this anyway. Let's roll. Like I'd go out, speak on a stage after taking a few hits off of a bottle of Crown Royal, or, I didn't care. It completely took away my fears. Well, once I became sober, which I heard in a treatment facility, that sober is an acronym for son of a bitch, everything's real. Because all of a sudden, right?
That is a good one.
Yeah. Like all of a sudden, like, oh my God, I can't anesthetize my emotions anymore, my feelings. I have to live it. What? I have to feel? Ooh. And so, I started like, I lost that, I lost that drive. I lost that because I had lost everything. I was literally humbled on my knees, begging God for help. And it was really tough. It was really, really tough. But once I surrendered, and I realized that, I have this power that God gave me. I have this ability, and I have this ability to change the way that I think. Life became magical, and it still is today.
Yeah. That's amazing. And it's so true. I mean, having had alcoholics in my own family, past and present, not my current family. I've got some extended family that struggles with it right now. It's just interesting, the anesthesia side of it. All of them have a history of pain that they're trying to cover up. But it's interesting because, there were also people that, for example, that I went to college with, which was one big drinking fest.
Yep.
And some came out of that alcoholics, and I don't really know if it was to cover up the pain. Sometimes I think people do it to party and then just can't stop.
Yeah.
But it seems like for the vast majority, it's just to escape those feelings and escape reality and having to deal with that. So I love, love, love that sober acronym. I never want to forget that. Son of a bitch, everything's real.
But it's so true. It's
oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's so true. And I have hidden from it so many times. And you've heard the one, denial is not a river in Egypt. And I was the king of denial. Like I was like, and my God forbid any relationship I had, anybody say, Ken, you should probably consider controlling your drinking a little more. You're out of here, man. I cut you out of my life as quickly as I could. If you started calling me out on drinking, and don't ever call me an alcoholic. But but that's the way that I was, and
yeah,
that's just part of the deal. I eventually I surrendered.
Well, and I can relate to that. I've actually made it no secret for anybody who's talked to me about it. But back when I did my bodybuilding competition, back in 2016, 2015, really is when it all started for me. Part of it was because I had started just dealing with so much stress, I felt like in the wrong way. I mean, I gained a lot of weight, but it wasn't all because of food. A lot of it was alcohol. And I would go into my theater room and literally watch Wolf of Wall Street on repeat, which is not the best movie to watch, number one, but I was, had a lot going on. Let's just put it that way with my old company, some battles there. I joined a new company. And so it was kind of the best of times, worst of times. But I was literally medicating, I believe, somewhat with alcohol. And part of that whole journey in bodybuilding was to see if I could stop. And when I knew I had to quit, I mean, I've told a lot of people for the first 2 weeks, and I can't even begin to tell you how many of my girlfriends, that are 40 something, 50 something said, oh, I could have never given up alcohol for 16 weeks. And I was like, well, that was part of it for me. And for the first 2 weeks, I was like, TikTok, 4:00, where's my wine?
Yeah.
And it was a little bit of a functional alcoholic thing going on. And I think there's a lot of people that live in that world and just don't want to face it. It's kind of like people who only smoke when they drink. But if you ask them on a survey, are they a smoker? They say no.
Right.
So it's interesting. So I appreciate you sharing your heart, because I think that really probably touches a nerve with a lot of people, because for someone to say to me, I couldn't have quit drinking for 16 weeks, that should throw up a red flag, because you're dealing with something or coping through that. So,
here's the thing. I never, I have, but I don't anymore. I don't preach at people about it. I don't, I have people reach out to me and go, I'm not sure if I have a drinking problem or not. And I just say, well, have you ever thought that you do? And they're like, yeah. And I go, well, then you probably, people that don't have a drinking problem never have the thought, I wonder if I have a drinking problem. They never have that thought. So, you may want to look at that. And I don't, and that's it. Listen, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still.
Oh, hey, whoa. Because you say that a lot. And that's one of my favorite quotes.
Yeah.
That you say. So say it again. And I'm going to ask somebody, because like Mark just put in your body doctor affirmation.
Yeah.
I want somebody. Come on, Chad, come on.
Yeah.
Drop what he's about to say. Scribe for us in the comments.
A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. If let's say that you have an alcohol problem and I am trying to convince you have an alcohol problem, all that's going to do is make you more resistant to the possibility of doing something about it.
Yeah.
And so I don't like, look, man, I just say, look, man, if the evidence in your life says you don't have one, then do your thing.
Yeah.
Chad said, okay, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. It means, like, if you believe, it's like politics. I have a huge belief in one side, but I don't argue with people on the other side. I just don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't argue with people that have a different opinion, because I'm not going to convince you. If let's say that you're a Biden fan, I'm a Trump fan, or you're a Trump fan, and I'm a Biden fan, I'm not going to be able to convince you in a social media post or an argument or any kind of a discussion that you're wrong. It's more than likely I'm not going to be able to convince you. So why even waste the time? I don't have the time for arguments like that. I don't have time for discussions like that. I'm very, very busy. And if you're not busy enough that you can have those arguments, you might take a look at that.
Yeah.
You might want to just take a peek at what you're doing with your life.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, that's true. Oh, Chad, here, he put it there. Good.
Yeah. And it's not gender specific. It could be a woman too.
Yeah. Yeah. We get that. We as women have learned that statement. But it's so true. And it's really kind of a secret to sales also, I believe, is, you can't convince or sell somebody against their will. In fact, A big quote that I say often in my industry and network marketing is, if you sell somebody an opportunity, you got to sell them to work it every single day. So you never want to sell it. And to Jeffrey Gitomer's point, people don't want to be sold. They want to buy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's why I believe, like, and Jeffrey does too, and Zig Ziglar. And I believe that, if you're in sales and you don't absolutely passionately love what you're selling, what you're doing, you're not going to make it. Like, you're probably not going to make it.
Yeah.
You can make some money. You can definitely make some money, because I've been there selling something I didn't necessarily believe in with everything in my heart. But here's the thing: when you believe it with your heart, you can do more than make money. You can make a difference.
Yeah.
And making a difference, when you make a difference in the world, the money follows. Doesn't happen necessarily. Like, I can remember being 2 years, 3 years into it thinking, I'm making a difference, damn it. Where's the money?
Yeah.
Because I was impatient and I want what I want when I want it, and I want it now, and I'm going to throw a freaking fit if I don't get it.
Yeah.
And I think that's another problem, is people give up far too fast and easy. And they're like, oh yeah, I tried that. Like, I'm going to be a professional golfer. And I went out and I played golf for 2 years. I took lessons. I hired 4 different coaches, and they all gave me lessons. And some of them said, do this. Some said, do that. I took what, and man, I decided, okay, after 2 years, if I'm not a professional golfer on the PGA Tour, then this was a bunch of BS, and all those coaches suck, and I'm never trying this crap again. Well, it's not that, dude. You got to go. Like, Tiger Woods started when he was freaking 2.
Yeah.
His dad made him hit golf balls in lightning storms and thunderstorms and pouring down rain. And he worked and worked and worked and worked his ass off. And yes, he rose to the top, but then he fell, and he still struggles to get in wins. And he's Tiger freaking Woods, for the love of God.
Yeah.
What the hell makes you think that you can put in a couple of years and get results? That's craziness.
Yes, exactly. First of all, hello, Lynn. I love Lynn. Lynn's in Pro Live Academy with us. She's amazing.
Amazing.
Gotta say hi. I love it when you get passionate like that, Ken. That is why you are Ken freaking Walls right there.
I can't stand it when people don't use a little bit of logic in there. And that sounds so arrogant to say, but my God, you can't.
That's a good
one. Right, Chad. I agree. And it's like if you're like, I want to lose weight. Okay. How much weight do you want to lose? Oh, I need to lose 50 pounds. Okay. How long did it take you to put that extra 50 pounds on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, I mean, 20 years. Okay. 20 years. So 20 years ago, you didn't weigh this extra 50 pounds. And now we're going to start making some changes. Now I can show you a really fast way to lose that 50 pounds. But I am telling you, you're going to hate life for the next, say, 75 days, because I'll show you how to do 75 hard. Yeah. I've done 75 hard, and 75 hard it's not easy. So, or
75 hard.
Right, exactly. And I mean, I was a potato chip junkie when I started 75 hard. I was eating chips every night, but I had to give all of it up. It was like, bam, all of a sudden.
And so all that and a bag of potato chips.
I was several bags of potato chips. But anyway, but like, I did not expect to lose. I ended up losing 30 pounds, but my expectation was realistic. I was like, okay, I didn't put on this extra 30 pounds in 75 days.
Yeah.
And I even thought I'm probably not even going to lose 30 pounds, but I'm still going to do 75 hard, and I'm going to finish it. And I did it, and it was not freaking easy. And my wife did it. It was not easy. There were times when we hated each other, but we did it. And you know, look what Tim says. You gave up
the bag of chips. Now you are just all that, no bag of chips.
But like I did, and you know, there's so many freaking people out here, Jen, and you know this. We've had long conversations about it that are blah 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 lip service. They know how to talk the game. They know how to tell, but they don't do the deal, man. They've never walked in they've never done it. They've never been in there and done it. And you know, I've done a lot.
And I gotta add to that because, you know, again, when people ask me about the bodybuilding stuff, right? Which that's always, to me, sometimes, you know, I've spent way more years in sales and leadership, coaching and training than I ever spent in bodybuilding. Yet everybody wants to focus on that, but that's because that's a physical representation. And that's what it represented to me was, I mean, just pardon my French, but I was like, no more bullshit. No more talking the talk. I'm going to be number one. I'm going to walk the walk. Not only in my network marketing business, kind of woo-woo virtually, you know, in terms of ranking or whatever, and actually getting it done, but I am going to walk the walk.
Right.
Sparkly bikini, hooker heels and all.
Yeah. And
win. You know what I mean? And it was a physical representation because that is my pet peeve. Yeah. And I want to say this, and I'm not, as you love to say, or Gittimer loves to say, not blowing smoke up your skirt, Ken.
Yeah.
Part of why I chose you as a coach is because there are a million coaches out there and I've spent money on them.
Yeah.
A lot of them do walk the walk. There's a few I could tell you, yes, they walk the walk. But the majority talking the talk. Excuse me, they don't even talk the talk, they talk the bullshit.
Yeah.
It's all like, you can do it. Okay, thanks. That'll be $5,000. And I'm like, wait a minute, what did you do again? Like, and you never really can find out what they've done. It's all very vague, all very like smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
You are the real freaking deal, you know? And anyway, that's all I got to say about that. And he did not pay me for that sales pitch, but I'm fired up right now because that is my pet peeve. I want a coach, me personally, that has walked the walk, not just talk the talk. And you're it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I see my buddy John Piper on here.
Hey, John.
Good dude right there.
I am with a company called ID Life. For the past 6 years, I've been the top income earner, and I love the company. It's amazing. Health and wellness products. Shout out to ID Life. Love it, love it. Chad nailed it right here. Words lie, actions can lie too, but consistency speaks truth. And there's nobody more consistent than Chad Pittenger. He literally sends me an encouraging, like, Chad daily every single morning. Literally. I wake up, have my coffee, and there's Chad.
And I think, and that's a great point. Put that back up there if you would for a second. Consistency. I want to talk about that because no matter what,
I stink at consistency. That's part of why you're my coach too.
Well, that's one of. I used to be. People have called me Mr. Consistent because I am like, if I know. If you say to me, hey, Ken, if you make 10 phone calls every single day, you're going to make one sale, and that one sale is worth $1,000 every time you do it, then I know, right? And I will come in every day and I will make 10 phone calls every single day, and I know that I'll get there. I'm still, if I've never done it, there's no way I can be sure about it. It's scientifically not possible.
So true.
So I have to have a belief that, okay, maybe she's right. Let's do this. And I've done it consistently over and over and over. And eventually you leave the town of Doubtsville that Glenn Morshower loves making up. I love that. But like you leave the town of Doubtsville and you enter the town of Certaintyville because you've done it now. You're actually doing the work. You're still going to have in the beginning, no matter what you're doing in the beginning, you're going to have imposter syndrome. I don't care if you just spent 8 years in medical school and now you're going to cut your first cadaver. Like there's going to be doubt. You're going to have doubt, and that's okay. And you're going to screw up, and you're going to confirm your doubt.
You're going to because it's a cadaver. He's already dead.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, you're going to screw up. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to be like, okay, you know what? I was afraid that I couldn't do this, and I just proved it right. I proved myself right. I shouldn't be doing this. I'm not qualified. But the only thing that's going to make you qualified is to keep going and try and try and try and try and try and try and try.
That is so, so true. Yeah. And like to Chad's point, Jeffrey taught me not just to read the books, but to study it. Yeah, you got to study it. But then too, and I know Chad knows this, but you got to put it into action. You know, I see so many people out there that, and you probably see them as a coach, right? And I'm sure as I start getting into coaching, I'll see the same thing. But you have people that are just literally perennial students. They just, I mean, I had friends like that went to college, got their MBA, then, I think I'll get my doctorate. You know what? I think I'll go back and go to law school. I'm like, just get out and make some freaking money already, would you? There's imposter syndrome, but it's wrapped up in, I don't know enough yet. I don't know enough. It's paralysis by analysis,
Yep.
So
there are people that do that with conferences. They're conference addicts, and they're like, it's like, dude, how many conferences do you need to go to and get fired up before you finally decide you're going to take massive action in your life?
Exactly.
Because that's what separates the winners from the losers. It's not the fact that winners fail. Winners have failed more than I mean, successful people are just, they're successful because they fell down a hell of a lot more than unsuccessful people ever tried.
Right. Mark says affirmations, visualizations, manifestations, meditations, and motivations without taking action is like opening your window and declaring there are no weeds in your garden. There are weeds and they will eat up your garden.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
You got to take action on it. And, I mean, it's mind blowing too, in terms of affirmations though. I mean, there is a lot of really cool stuff I've learned on all that lately in terms of not only what you think about, but what you say about yourself. And, in terms of that, Mark, for sure, to his point. But because what you say out loud has 10x, speaking of Grant Cardone, 10x the power of what you say to yourself without saying it out loud. So
it's true.
Yeah, it's scary stuff. All right, Ken. So what are you passionate about right now? Like, where do you feel like you're really killing it right now? I want to hear.
With my academy and the coaching. I mean, the coaching with the academy combined is where I live for that. There's this thing inside of me that gives me the ability to see through people's crap and help them see through the crap that they're putting up. And I just love it. I absolutely love it. I feel like I'm making a difference, a huge difference in people's lives.
You really are. I mean, the community that I've met there, Lynn and Mark and Charles and just all these different people that are in your group are amazing human beings. I mean, it's a great little, it's not little, but just family of people that are all kind of pulling the rope the same way. So now they can go to growliveacademy.com, right? To find out more about that. And then I would probably encourage them too, to grab their free copy of 100 live stream secrets, which you can get at 100livestreamsecrets.com. And that too is a good way to connect with you as well. Right.
I see James Jacoby. Hey, James.
Hey, James.
Do you know James?
I don't know. Oh, yes, I do know James. I've connected with him, I think, just recently. I can't say I know him, but I think we're Facebook friends, James.
He's a good dude. JR Arsenal is on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Awesome. Well, you always attract the best, Ken. That's just you.
Thank you.
Your shining face. All right. Well, we're bumping up at a little over an hour, going to hour 15, and I'm sure you got clients to coach and
I do.
To do and more lives to do.
Yeah.
Are you going to be live tonight?
Who knows? Probably.
Probably. We should all be stalking you late at night to see if you and Glenn.
Yeah. Maybe. You never know. Especially with Glenn, you never know.
Hey, how was Gittimer's last week?
Was awesome.
I
went down and hung out with him and Doug Wing, and two amazing people. We went to dinner. We ate at some of the finest restaurants in Charlotte, North Carolina. It was incredible. Good times.
That's super awesome. Now, did y'all go to the racetrack?
The racetrack? No.
I thought Doug.
Oh no, Doug did that on his own. That was a side. Doug bought a well, he has a bunch of very, very, very fast, expensive cars, but I think it was a Ford GT when he bought his GT, or one of his cars. He got invited to come to Charlotte Motor Speedway and race Ford. I forget what it was. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, James. Huh?
Oh, sorry. Was it a Shelby or a Cobra or?
Yeah, I don't remember what he drove, but yeah, he got to drive on Charlotte Motor Speedway. Pretty cool.
Awesome.
Pretty cool deal. Yeah. So.
All right. Well, I think that's all she wrote, right?
Yeah.
Shelby GT 500.
That's one of his cars.
Yeah.
He's got the Super Snake. He's got a Ford GT. He's got all kinds of cars. Bunch of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving, Ken.
Happy Thanksgiving. I'll see you on Wednesday.
I know you'll see me on Wednesday. I'm not making my coaching call. I'm like, you're almost. I don't know. It's like going to a therapist with you. Like I have to. Like if I go a few days without talking to you, I'm kind of like I got to get my Ken fixed. Like I need to talk to Ken. Where's Ken? Getting a little insecure. I need to talk to Ken.
Oh,
you're amazing. I love you. You know that.
Oh, I love you too. You're amazing.
And thanks for pushing me out of my comfort zone too. So
thanks for having me push you.
Yeah. I love it. If you guys are watching this on replay, please put replay in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Share it out. I mean, wow. I had no idea the path we were going to go down today, but it was really powerful and inspirational. And it sounds like we changed a few lives along the way. So you really dig this message, please share it out. We would really, really appreciate it. And that's it. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And you know the drill, Ken, because you taught it to me. Hang tight, and I'll see you backstage. Peace out.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yep.